You're listening to Delenta Coaches Connect podcast. This podcast features the diverse perspective of a thriving global community of coaches, leaders, and experts sharing their captivating stories, journeys, expert advice, and more. Welcome to Coaches Connect podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Jones. And today we have a very exciting guest. Today we have Delenta.com's founder, Sam Samarasinghe, with us. Sam is the founder and CEO of Delenta.com, which is a complete all-in-one coaching platform that helps coaches, mentors, and consultants all around the world to build their businesses under one roof. His experience spans over 18 years across 4 continents, from Silicon Valley to remote South Asia, and through some of information technology's memorable moments, such as the dot-com boom and bust. Sam earned his MBA from the Australian Institute of Business and is a chartered member of British Computer Society. He left the corporate world with over a decade of experience in digital transformation, leadership, technology, and strategy to become a trusted advisor to high-growth startups and follow his passion to build Delenta.com to make knowledge sharing easy and fun. So let's welcome Sam. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hello, Nicole. Wow, I'm very good. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's so good to see you. It's been some time, my friend. It's been some time. We met about 3 years ago when you were starting this journey. Actually, you'd already started the journey, but it's been some time. I wanted to bring you on just to kind of tell your story and let's get into some conversation. So are you down?
Wow, yeah, I'm very glad to be here. Thank you very much for this, really grateful.
Well, good. So let's get into it. So tell us a little bit about who you are and how Delenta.com came about.
Sure. Okay. So I'm Sam, founder, the CEO. I'm actually now, like you basically mentioned, probably closer to 2 decades of experience in technology industry. Since the dot-com boom to where we are today, right? All that.
Right.
So I used to work with very large organizations like British Telecom to London 2012 and many other companies, and help people to build a lot of complex solutions. And then midlife crisis or whatever you call it, right? It happens. I had to find my purpose. What I'm going to do with my next decade, etc. in my career. So I'm so fortunate to download this idea of Delenta to my head while I was traveling. So what happened was I was sort of looking for what is the next stage of my life, what I can really passionate about. When I get up in the morning, I basically really I have that kick, you call it, right, to follow that idea. So I came across this idea of how we can help these people who share their knowledge and experience credible, enjoyable, and also easy. And I was really passionate about collecting knowledge, like a lot of people like you do as well, Nicole, right? And we read a lot of books and we have so much experience to share, but how are we going to do that? So that was my tipping point to see. So then the idea came a reality. I basically took a different twist to it when I started it. What I was thinking is, we are not really sometimes appreciating enough the people who share their knowledge and experience with others, right?
Right.
And we don't encourage that way. Human nature is such that people do it, but how much appreciation we get, right? Like you can see even as a coach, like how much support you get sometimes from the family, right? Like and your colleagues and all that, ex-colleagues, etc. But you do it because you are really passionate about doing it. And at that time when I started, it was for everybody. Like, hey, if you know a good recipe, share with some people. If you have a great skill, if you're a good baker, share that. And speaker, just share that how we can do it. So we create a very simple tool with a calendar and audio video system, integrated with each other. So at the time, Zoom wasn't a big deal. Calendly wasn't a big deal. Back in 2019, 18. So we created that whole entire system for people to just to basically put their time out there, availability out there for people to book it. and have a video. It was amazing, right? My close colleagues, we basically put together and we did a focus group, went out the net. But suddenly we realized, actually, we became top 20 in London for the innovation for the social impactfulness, because at the time it was
Yes.
a social venture, right?
Yeah.
And so what happened was we found a lot of mentors and coaches on the platform. And it's funny because at the time when we sort of asked our early adopters, you call it, at the beginning of our journey,
Right.
we asked, okay, so what do you use this for? Is it just you're sharing some? I'm a coach. Really, like, can you do coaching in this one? I mean, you should be like this a different platform for sure. And we are really puzzled, right? And
Right.
I remember, I think you were one of these early stage when we basically sort of, I reached out to you as, your
Yes.
coach, and your social presence is amazing. You're a very, very nice person to sort of say, Sam, yeah, I'm happy to have a chat with you, right, about this. And you probably remember at the time it was very, very much like early stage, really early
Very
stage,
early.
one
Yeah.
page platform, right? And then you kind of kind enough, then some other coaches kind enough to share there, oh, this is the problem we are facing, right?
Right.
um, and I remember you introduced you to your friend, and we basically met in Miami right before
Yes.
pandemic. Wow,
Right before COVID,
I know, just
actually.
before COVID. Exactly. It was so great. So there, basically, flew down there and we met you. I met you and my team, and it's just amazing, right? Like so we were like thinking, oh wow, there are people called coaches and mentors who really does what we really want them to do, like which is sharing and
Yes.
sharing the knowledge and experience. So we created this name Delenta, thinking about how we can really appreciate, acknowledge, recognize these people who really passionate about sharing their knowledge with others and for their others' betterment, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why Delenta came into page. Delen in Dutch is sharing, Ta is in thank you. We connected both together and said thank you
Awesome.
for sharing, right?
I
So
love
that's
that.
the inception of Delenta.
I love that. Hearing the story, and obviously I've heard some of this story and getting to know you early on in 2019 and understanding the meaning of Delenta. The one thing that we probably didn't spend a ton of time on speaking about is how did you really decide to hone in on either coaches, mentors, consultants? How did we kind of, bloop, that's where we're going to go? How did you kind of get that?
Oh, wow, very good question. Nicole, I would say it's because at the time when I was researching, and I mean, even I remember we, Innovate sort of UK, one of the competition
Hmm.
here, and some of the panelists were saying, "Hey, what's your industry?" Right? So we can go for
Right.
any industry, hospitality. Hey, if somebody's traveling, somebody can basically give us some ideas and all that. So there's so much, vast scope to this.
Right. Right.
Organization. It's so great because as an entrepreneur, sometimes you get, oh wow, we have this huge market to go after. But I wasn't really after that. I was after more like, hey, how we can make this impact, right?
Hmm.
How we can
Hmm.
realize this, how we can make this world flatter, right? Through sharing of knowledge and experience, right? Because there's definitely that there. I mean, after COVID, of course, things got started, things got, really picked up. People, got much more aware of coaching and mentoring.
Right.
But at the time, it wasn't that a thing, right? It was a bit of a trend. I remember reading ICF, those reports about coaching industry and all that. That's 2008, 18 report
Right.
at the time,
Right.
right? I thought,
Yeah.
wow, okay. So there is a proper industry being built around helping people, right? And
Mhm.
and kudos to the coaches. They make a living out of it. Come on, how's that possible, right? And they share their experience and knowledge, and people pay for that, and people get developed. Other people who in the other side of the the spectrum, and then they basically sometimes coach another person from the learning that they got from the original coach. So this can go into generations. This can go into different communities. It can uplift the human nature. So it was like really eye-opening for me. And that's why I say I'm really fortunate. When I say fortunate, I'm really, really fortunate, personally speaking, taking that decision and stick with it. And helping coaches and mentors and people who are really passionate to share their knowledge and experience with others.
I love that. It's some people will say it's the gift that keeps on giving, right? While there may be a lot of trained coaches and mentors and consultants that do a lot of this work, there are so many nuggets of knowledge that we can share with others and kind of keep that gift to keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
So I really love your story. You know, in all of our startups and bust and all these kinds of things that can happen as we're trying to figure out our path of either transformation and growth, you know, I want you to share one of your earliest struggles when you first started Delenta.
Oh my God. How many? I mean, how much time we got?
Because I mean, we all love, as
It's
entrepreneurs, those
all
that are
about
entrepreneurs
struggles.
love hearing those, like the struggle. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like one out of the other, right? Like, from the sort of what we call the blank piece of paper to basically say, oh, wow, this is how we can do it, to, oh, wow, all that. But I say this very, very consciously, is the amount of support I've received,
Mhm.
right? Almost like, outweighed the struggles, because everybody I've spoken to, tons of people who basically sort of say, yeah, happy to help, happy to have a chat, what are you doing, all that. So it's incredible how much support out there, and how yeah, I mean, going back to the struggles, of course, many things, like, for example, how we're gonna hire the first employee, right? What's gonna happen, should we go and found another partner of the business, or should we get invested, all that. So we consciously decided, man, like, this is a social impactful mission that we are
Mhm.
in. We have in the core of our business, we acknowledge, we appreciate people who share their knowledge. We want to make it credible. We can make it easier for people to receive that knowledge. So creating this platform, secure it, make it really, scalable and all that. Those are all at the early stage struggle, like, the social, social aspect, the technology aspect, and all that. Um, I tell you very clearly, one of the major struggle, probably I would say, is whether we're going to get paid for this, right?
Mhm.
When we create,
Mhm. Oh, that's always the
should we,
million-dollar question, right? Am I gonna get paid for doing this, right?
yeah, exactly, right? Like,
Does
so
anyone care, like, if I'm doing this?
that's one of the, like, early stage thing. Should we do that? All that. So at the beginning of the COVID, we actually gave so many coaches for free the
Yeah,
platform, right?
yeah.
So you probably remember, like, the sort of, we were discussing, and you advising me as well in the areas where, how can we make it really, show that, demonstrate that, Delenta is about this. So yeah, many
I I
struggles.
I love that because, sometimes we can sit in our struggle and, dwell and get overwhelmed and not see a path forward. What
Mhm.
keeps you on the path forward vibe? What keeps you with that type of energy of driving yourself forward?
Oh, it's I think the team, right,
Yeah.
behind Delenta, and the customers who appreciate us, and, you know, take being really patient, and, very cooperative, and
Mhm.
spreading the news. So all of these things give me so much energy to stay focused, right? I mean, even till today, I speak to coaches, I do demos, I do sometimes onboarding,
That's
right?
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
just, like, I randomly, I mean, the day before yesterday, I can't remember, I don't know whether I should disclose the name, but I would say the first name. So her name is Carol. I mean, I had a discussion a couple of days ago, and she said, this is the best thing happened in my, coaching career. It's all, it's helping me to save me time, get me everything organized, and all that. So, when you hear that, you know what else you need, right? And
Ah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just like, wow, we impacting people, and we help her to do more, impactful things with her business. That's amazing.
It is amazing because, we as coaches, like I said the struggle, and sometimes people that know me well will say, man, the struggle is real, right? There are days that, um, we're moving forward and we're driving and thriving. And then there are days where we may take a few steps back, and having a platform like yourself, kind of lets people just feel like they're all organized and they're in one spot and they can kind of keep moving their business where they want it to be and how they want to grow it. And in thinking about the overall platform itself, um, what do you think really draws people to Delenta?
one thing, I think, one of the major areas that we think the people attract to us is because the community, right? The community that
Mm,
we got, the coaching community. And you're probably aware of this, we don't do marketing, right? You don't see, social media ads or anything, like, because our coaches bring other coaches into the platform. We like, I'm a techie, right? I'm a technologist, right? I have
yeah.
no marketing background, the commercial and all that. So what I passionate about is building the product and helping people to do the better, through the tool that we basically develop, and creating this community to help us with the feedback to do better, right? So
Hmm.
this is like a snowball effect that we see in the business, that we supposed to have, like, 10 customers, then between 15, and then a couple of coaches bring on more coaches, and they start recommending. So I think today sometimes coaches market our platform than us, right?
Yeah.
Personally speaking. And it's a great thing, so so yeah, I mean, I don't know that I answered the question, but it's yeah, it's a community. And of course, everything else, from the technology point of view, we have everything in one place, so you don't have to juggle between too many different systems, all the
Right.
tools you need, and be innovative, right? Like I said, we get the feedback from community, we develop more, and we really passionate about coaching, right? So we take care of them, so they love the fact that they're part of something amazing.
Yeah, community is important, whether it is in your actual personal life community where you live, where you shop, where you eat, whatever, or in a business community. And I think community is so important right now. I believe, people have been left with this feeling of feeling alone. And especially if you're an entrepreneur, where do you go? Who do you talk to? There's a period of time where people get tired of being online all the time and seeing these little pictures of people all the time. But, what is the biggest thing that you've learned within the coaching community? What have your coaches taught you? Because I feel everyone that I meet is either a student or a teacher. And so every conversation that I have, and I will have some interesting takeaway from ours today, what have you learned most from the group of people that you've been around in your community?
Yeah, I mean, that's the one of the fun part in my job, today, right? I never. So this is a very, very quick. I don't know how to put it, but it's actually a life learning lesson for me.
Hmm.
So we talk about, like, karma, you're giving and you get more and all that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
today I'm surrounded. I mean, we create this platform, people to share the knowledge and experience. Today I got amazing coaches around me, right? Giving me enough and more knowledge and experience to myself. It's abundance that's coming back to me, right? So I'm so grateful in the middle of all that, because if I'm a relationship coach today, I know. Is it a leadership coach today? I know that person. If I want, like, executive coaching, career coach, culture, anybody, I know coaches, I know, then they'll be happy to share their knowledge and experience, right? And not because I'm basically being part of Delenta or not, it's because they're very, their passion is not sharing knowledge and experience. So I learn daily basis speaking with our customers and coaches, and I speak to you, Nicole, and I learn every day something new when I speak to you, right? And that's amazing. But one thing I would basically say is, if I generalize, I'm a basically sort of very passionate person, high
Yeah.
energy and all that.
Yeah.
And most of the coaches, they say, what, it's fine, slow down, right? Let's
Take
go.
a moment.
Steady, exactly, right? So I'm like, yeah, my team knows that how passionate I am. No, let's do it. Let's jump in. But that being around these kind of intellects, and then with these these amazing people, I help you a lot to develop yourself. So I'm really grateful for that.
And kind of attached to that through this journey, because it has been a very interesting transformational journey that you've taken for yourself. What is, I don't know, what is one of the biggest things that you've learned about Sam? What's one of the biggest things you've learned about yourself?
Oh, you know what? That's what every entrepreneur I speak to, or somebody who's basically going to start a business, says, do it, and do it, and don't look at the future and all the aspiration. Just but do it. You'll learn a lot about yourself through that process, because this is one of the hardest things and most enjoyable things I've
Yeah.
basically done in my life, right?
Yeah.
And you probably know this. It's all about maturing, right, daily basis, and learning about new people, how they think. Of course, there are a lot of schools, they have MBAs, leadership programs, and other things that you can do. But this is a process that where you take it to a different level. You become more empathetic, you become more more conscious, you be more reflective, and you become
Mm-hmm.
mature with the decision making, the mistakes that you do, you know mistake you make, in this journey. So it's a learning. It's absolutely maturing daily basis. Nicole, I can't basically highlight one, but I'm sure through the process, I got a lot of experience now with remote working culture, to managing different cultures, because we have a variety of Europeans, Americans, Asians. So there's a lot more things that you learn out of this process. So it's amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine how much you've learned, especially, it's continental wide. Like you are talking to all different types of people and learning what works for them and what may work in the UK, may not work in the US or work in Asia. So I'm sure it really, really stretches the mental capacity at some points. But if you're not stretching and stepping out of the comfort zone, then you're not growing, right? And
Absolutely.
so I think that's amazing that you've really opened your arms and, just engulfed all these different types of people to continue to push forward your platform and continue to tweak it as you see fit. The one thing that I always wonder, and it's again, probably, we all have that answer. We all have an answer, but sometimes we may not know it right when I ask. Is we're looking into a crystal ball. Where do we see you, or where do we see Delenta in the next 2 to 3 years?
Wow. Well, I think I'm not sure about myself in a protester, board, to be honest. But definitely, building a amazing platform, most credible platform for coaches that people can hang around and learn from. So
Mhm.
so today we know we do coach, we're helping coaches, and we bring amazing coaches into the platform, and they share their knowledge, they organize, they save so much time, and they do that impact. So what we probably do is now we will look at the client side, right? How
Mhm.
they can connect with organizations, potential clients, to the platform. So they will share their content, right? They will basically create that marketplace within Delenta for them to basically grow their businesses, right, online. And that will have massive impact on this ecosystem, a self-improvement ecosystem, where I see where the world is going, right? Today with the pandemic and all that, a lot of learnings that we, as a human nature, you must be learn. So we will, I think, apply those things, and we'll see, proactively how we can grow. And I think Delenta will be a one platform that people will trust, and trust to acquire that knowledge and experience to go to the next level. That will happen in so next few years we'll be focusing on how we can bring these coaches into the organization and individuals to really acquire that knowledge, right? They have, and also how they can create content within the platform. That's why we basically release course platform, right?
Mhm.
Then we have the event platform coming up, that they can launch events on Delenta. And who knows, we might do podcast platform on Delenta, right? And all these content will be amazing, valuable for people who are after that knowledge and experience to uplift themselves to the next level. And through that, sometimes coaches might collaborate, and they will basically create these cohorts that they can really make that impact they want to make, right? So
Mhm.
there's a lot of areas that we are looking at, but in a sense, we will be the number one self improvement and most credible platform when it comes to knowledge sharing.
And when you say, that's very interesting. When you say you will be the number one, what really um, allows Delenta to stand out from a crowd, from other coaching or mentoring consulting platforms out there?
It's a community. It's absolutely community, and how we can, because you see, one side is coaches. They do a lot of certification to show their credibility. They do a lot of, pro bono sessions, and they do, again, they have clients, and they get referrals, and they build this business in a really gradually, nice way, right? And help the societies and communities through that process. Now, if we can connect these individuals, and if we can help them to showcase those credentials, those hours of working, and coaching, and all the other attributes around the credibility through the platform, which which we look at, right? Testimonials to a number of hours they do, and all that, how we can basically make that accessible for people, right? To make that increase the credibility. So that makes, and also the sort of trusted ecosystem that we're creating within Delenta can really be unique than other people. I mean, the one thing that I would basically say is, in the future, this is how I think the credibility and the trust going to be huge, because there's so much knowledge, so many things going on right now. People don't know what to believe, right? People
Right.
don't know. It's a major, it can be a major issue when it comes to next generations. So you probably know that there are people now do videos with Obama's face, or somebody
The superimposing is like, wait, who is this? Is
yeah,
this
who
really
is
the
this, right?
person? Yeah.
So it's incredible. So exactly, right?
A lot of falsehoods going on right now.
Yeah, so we are very slow into that. We're taking very gradual, methodical approach to create that. We are not another sort of VC funded other startups where I say, 10x, 5x, 6x, 10x, 50x, and all that. It's not in our nature. Our nature is more around how we can understand our customers well. How can they serve more
of an organic growth type of model.
Exactly. And help. Yeah.
I love that. We have some listeners obviously and we're super excited about growing this platform, part of Delenta. And so, as you being the CEO and founder of the company, I'd love to hear some advice that was given to you that you can actually share with us that will help us on our journeys.
Wow. Many, but I think we underestimate the idea of being present, right? And most of the time. So I, when I reflect on most of the time when I do mistakes, I basically have myself, sort of portray, I don't know, projected to somewhere else, and try to basically sort of, try to emotionally attach with that self in the future, right? And of course, sometimes you need to think through that process, but are you really conscious about the decision that you make today? And are you present with all these things and discussions you have sometimes with the team? Are you really present, right? I know coaching is one that, sort of absolutely, sort of admire that presence, right? Because I basically been coaching sort of programs, and it's really hard, right? We are really, really, really present, right? And you have to be, otherwise how can, so that nature, sometimes downloads happen when you're basically in this sort of present situation. So I can't sort of advise enough anybody, right? Power of Now from Eckhart Tolle, if you look at the book, and Michael Singer's, right? Those books that those authors have written, there's definitely a valuable nugget there. But yeah, so every day I'm training myself to be present, and basically be in that state of mind. Yeah. So
I think that's beautiful, because as you said, that is a task that coaches need to coach, is to be present, because we are there for the client, not for ourselves. And that can be a very difficult talent to build on, or a muscle to keep building. If you're not that type of person prior, it's a lot of layers that we've got to kind of peel away as we're figuring all of that out. So it's something that you have to continue to foster and grow. And it's awesome that it comes from you saying that as well, because it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter what your title is. Being present when you come into conversation is so meaningful.
Absolutely.
So meaningful. So as we're starting to close down this lovely conversation, what's something you'd like to leave our audience with today?
Well, interesting questions, Nicole. I tell you that. I wish you could share these questions before.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I don't know. No, why did you do that? Yeah, I mean,
Remember, we all have the answers from within.
exactly. So I'm just waiting to get my me to sort of download all these things. But yeah, I think one thing I basically would like to leave everybody is that this is sort of sharing part, right? Sometimes we take credit for when things go good, right? When things going well,
Right.
you tend to sort of, it's a human nature, right? I do that, and most of us do that, right? And when things go bad, sometimes basically we blame, right? And we say,
Correct.
oh, something wrong, and all that, right? But we forget, be grateful, and acknowledge and recognize, right? That part of you, part of others who share their knowledge and experience with others, sometimes unconditionally, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I just want to leave that with you all, the idea of sharing, or how much are you doing today, right? What you do to basically fuel that trend of sharing your knowledge, experience, and how you're helping, and also are you saying thank you enough? You say acknowledge that, recognize that. And then sometimes coaches, I feel for them, because they do so much for clients. Sometimes they don't get enough credit, appreciation for that, right? And that's why we are behind coaches, right, today, and helping them, and basically have a platform to say, what, we appreciate everything you do, and we listen to you, and we take care of you. All that is in our ecosystem, and in our values. So I just want to leave that. And one more thing I would leave, that actually, if I make, Nicole,
Yeah, go ahead.
I want everybody to know about Nicole as well, right? So Nicole, 3 years ago I met her, and she's the same, very direct woman, and she's such a great person. And in fact, she, every time I speak to Nicole, I learn a lot out of a lot of something new and something great, right, from you. So she's executive coach, and is a leadership coach, and she's a wonderful person, right? So I just want to let that mention as well in the call today.
Oh, thank you so much. Again, it's not about me, but thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing for the coaching community. Community is important. And if you're looking for one, please come find us, because this is an amazing place to be. If you want to reach out to Sam directly or get in touch with the company, what's the best way for people listening to do that?
Yeah, so go to www.delenta.com, Delenta, delenta.com. So probably, somebody will mention here. And yeah, you can basically come to delenta.com. It's a live chat. You can ask questions from us. You can also send emails if you like, info@delenta.com, info@delenta.com. So yeah, so we are here to help you and, uplift your coaching business.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an awesome chat with the founder and CEO of Delenta.com, Sam Samarasinghe. I look forward to talking to you again soon. And community, follow us and keep hearing all these good tips from all of the experts and leaders and coaches that we have on the show. Have an awesome day, and we'll get into it again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's discussion. Make sure to follow us to catch more episodes of the Coaches Connect podcast.